Okay, so welcome to lesson number 6. We're gonna tackle on inverse trigonometry. So this is a very, very important part because not only on the trigonometry section is asked, it is heavily used for integration. Okay, so it's really important for us to know about what the inverse trigonometry is. So a lot of definitions of function will be discussed in this lesson. So inverse. For function to have inverse, we need to have what line test? It needs to pass the horizontal line test. But let's try to work out the example on y is equal to sine x. Okay, for the y is equal to sine x, we can draw this periodic function on x and y axes. I have sine x in such way like this, and obviously, according to the horizontal line test, this wouldn't exist, right? That means we need some restriction on the domain, because for this function to have one value of x for one value of y, so if I draw the horizontal line here like this for the horizontal line test, I need to restrict the domain. What we realize is from the minimum value of -1 for the range up to the maximum value of 1, this red color line has only point of intersection with 1 with each horizontal line, right? So if I just restrict the domain from -π/2 to π/2, sine x will pass the horizontal line test. Okay, that's good. So we're going to start restricting the domain first. So for sine x, if I define the domain of from where? From -π/2 to π/2 to where? The range of -1 to 1, the inverse function exists. So the inverse function, we're going to refer him as arc sine x. And then every time you talk about new function, it's always crucial for us to know what the domain and the range is. And then by the definition of an inverse function, we're going to just switch what? We're going to switch the range into the domain and domain into the range. As long as we build up the function very well, it's easy to set up the domain and range of the inverse function. So in fact, for the sine x, the domain is going to be from -1 to 1, and the range is going to be from -π/2 to π/2. So the important fact about the inverse function is his range will be given in angle. Okay, that's very important. So the range will be always given in angle. Okay. For the domain, it's going to be always given in value. So in a way, I can consider of arc sine x as an angle alpha. Okay, and then this method will be heavily used to simplify some of the questions given on the IID paper. So always consider inverse trig as what? As an angle. Okay. So one of the nice example to demonstrate what the inverse function is, to correlate this with differentiation. Right. So I have y is equal to sine x. No. I have y is equal to arc sine x, and then the question says what's its derivative, and then with this example we're gonna deal with what the domain and range of arc sine x is, hence find the derivative of arc sine x. We will tackle that in the next video.